Hey guys, so Furina story quest, Little Oceanid, Animula Choragi, chapter Act 1. Of course, we can't do this yet, because where am I? Another horizon. Oh, Catherine. Alright. So which one did it say? Another horizon. Got one of these down here. I have all these that I just never do. Didn't realize I had actually started the quest. I just talked to her and it's like, oh yeah, here's the reward, and then it just automatically goes into the quest.
There are only a few days left until the performance. If they can't find someone in time, they'll probably have to postpone the show.
Oh
And delays
no,
tend to create all sorts of new problems.
like an execution.
Got it. Oh, this one's a doozy. What do you think, Traveler? Any ideas?
Gee, let's go see Furina. She might be
Even
interested.
if we took the commission, neither of us have any experience starring in musicals.
If you're interested in helping, why not start by having a chat with the requester? He's right over there. Maybe you can't fill the role yourselves, but you might be able to help him figure out another solution. Maybe there's something he hasn't thought of.
Oh, it's that guy, huh? No wonder, he looks like he just ate a sour lemon. Hyman approves, let's go.
Well, as long as Paimon approves. What's with the Three Musketeers -2 behind me?
There. Are you the guy looking for a new actress?
All for one and all for one and one for one.
Wait, I don't know you two? Are you really willing to act in my musical?
No.
Wow, sounds like we're pretty famous in Fontaine already. But to answer your question, neither of us have any experience in musicals. But we heard that you're in a bit of a bind, so we figured we could at least try to help you think of a solution.
Ah, I see. It's okay. I knew that asking for a volunteer was a long shot. If we can't find someone to step in, we'll have no choice but to cancel the show.
Oh no.
It would be such a shame. That's the thing. We're not some high-profile theater troupe, just a group of amateur enthusiasts.
I was gonna say something about amateur, but I'd rather not.
All our sets and props are very crude. We're grateful enough just to get an audience, never mind ticket fees. If we had a way to make this profitable, things might have turned out differently. But now, it looks inevitable that we'll disband.
Oh, well, nothing we can do. Let's go.
Disband? You're splitting up the troupe?
Oh, I guess the lady at the Adventurers Guild didn't tell you? Yeah, this is supposed to be our final show together as a troupe.
This shall be our last goodbye. Okay, well,
One
bye.
last show. And after that, we go our separate ways. So we were really hoping to end on a high note. Nobody wants things to just fizzle out. Not after all the time and effort we've invested into it.
Catherine, one of your actresses can't make it.
Yeah.
I am,
the
in
leading
fact,
lady,
an
in
actress.
fact. She's been dealing with a chronic illness ever since childhood, and unfortunately, it flared up again recently. It really drains all her energy, so she's in no state to perform.
I always love illnesses in games, just how they're like these unnamed illnesses. It's like in anime or movies. My mom died of an illness. What was it? Some unknown illness. She fought like hell, but she just gave into this unknown illness. Itachi, he's sick. Why? Some unknown illness.
The show just won't be the same without her. But for everyone else's sake, I still hope we can find a way to hold the performance on schedule.
Goku, just a heart disease. No specific heart disease, just a heart virus. Like, I love the vagueness of that. It's like, oh, whatever. It's whatever. You know, I don't think the people who create the things really care about giving it a name. It's like, because either way, it's like, even if you give it a name, does it take away how bad it is? No. A chronic illness is a chronic illness, no matter what it's called. It could be, you know, super happy McFlurry time, and it doesn't take away from how bad it is. No.
Got it. We have a clearer picture now. Let's see if we can come up with any ideas. What if we sponsored the show? Traveler, how much more are you carrying?
I don't know, like 43 million or something?
Please, there's no need to go that far. I wouldn't
I
feel
think.
right asking such a huge favor. And I can't promise that we'd ever be able to pay you back.
Trust me, I've got
Good point.
plenty, and I don't know what to use it on.
Just goes through the motions for the Mora. That's not exactly rescuing the show. We should find someone who will put on the best performance possible. Oh, wait! What about... you know who?
Voldemort?
That's how you know we're the best of partners. Anyway, she should have all
Like
the
we're
free time in the world
soulmates.
right now.
Traveler, will you marry Paimon?
She's really good at performing, and she was once super popular with the crowd. Performing in a musical should be a piece of cake for her.
Are they talking about Nicolette?
Who are you thinking of? Sounds like someone famous.
Furina.
Her!
What?
You're... That was a joke, right?
Okay. This dude, I'm sure, just a few months ago, or however long time has passed, was looking up to Furina like she was actually a god. Now all of a sudden it's like, oh, her? You can't expect us to let her in this. It's pretty sad when you think about it. They went from having all their trust in her to, despite the fact that she saved everyone, they've kind of like, oh, her. She should have just let them drown.
Nope. Paimon
Or
doesn't
dissipate,
actually know
really.
if she's performed on stage before, but Paimon's pretty confident that she'd be really good at it.
You're not wrong there. She has actually performed in a number of big-name shows before. They were one of the reasons she was so popular.
Which also makes me think that's one so people think that Furina isn't actually as poor as she seems. For one reason is that what he just said, she's starred in several big productions, and over 500 years, yep, I'm sure she has some kind of money. I mean, not super stashed away. It's not like you're going to the Northland Bank or the Golden House. You're not going to see that much money, but I mean, she can take care of herself. But now that we have Daddy Nicolette taking care of her, she doesn't really have to spend any of it. But yeah, it's the acting, because I'm sure a lot of big plays, people from different nations come all over to see Fontaine's plays, and so she's probably making bank with those.
But even if she's no longer the Hydro Archon, it's not like she's suddenly a commoner.
Yeah, well, that's what I said. She still probably has a lot of money.
She's still an idol to many people in Fontaine, including myself. I just think Lady Furina might feel a bit out of place in an amateur troupe like ours.
Are you sure, or are you just trying to cover yourself? Because before you're like, what, are you her? Are you kidding me?
Well, yes, but...
No buts, except your very large one.
Huh.
No buts, but your very
Fair
large
enough.
one.
I
It's
mean,
very large,
if
in
she
my
was
way.
actually willing to, then of course I'd be honored to have Lady Furina star in our show.
Yeah, you better
I'm
be.
sure the rest of the troupe would be delighted too.
Yeah, she saved everyone. You better be delighted.
I'm sure everyone in our troupe has probably dreamt of performing on stage with her one day. Of course, it all depends on whether she's interested. She might consider this opportunity beneath her.
Well, I'm sure she doesn't have anything else going on for her right now.
We'll only know if we ask her. And
We're good
besides,
friends with her.
things are different now. There's no reason
Actually-
for her to be all high and mighty anymore.
Actually, when you think about it, I think Furina is really the only Archon we haven't really become friends with. We're super good friends with Venti. We're really good friends with Zhongli. We're even good friends with A. You know, we've become good friends with Nahida. Furina has really been the only one we haven't really connected with, and I'm sure, you know, we will at some point. But she's the only one who's been kind of distant. I mean, obviously she has her reasons for being distant, at least before, so she really couldn't open up to everyone, and we couldn't really be her friends the way we wanted to, like we would with the other Archons. Like even A, you know, when she's out and about, she's like the most chill person there. You know, everyone's afraid of her because it's the Raiden Shogun, but it's like, here she is, like, eating dango and drinking dango milk and like, sniffing flowers and stuff. It's like, she's actually really cool.
Thank you for your help. I guess I'll just stay here and wait for the good news. Good luck.
I don't need luck.
Wait,
I'm
where
good.
does Furina actually live nowadays? She used to live in luxury at the Palais Mermonia, but she's, moved out, right?
Yeah, and I'm sure Daddy Neuvillette has put her in one of the finest homes.
As it happens, I have her current address here.
Catherine's
I can
stalking
provide
her.
it to you.
Catherine's like going around to her house, like looking through the windows. Like... And Furina's sitting there on the bed, like, Catherine. She gets a squirt bottle and starts squirting Catherine away.
Woo! When did you get here?
I came over when things were starting to sound more promising. I thought I should be at the ready in case my assistance is needed. It is my duty to support commissioners in any way I can.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Well, now that we've got the address, we'll go find Furina. Back in a jiffy.
I don't like Jeff. The little Oceanid. That was just the introduction. To yesterday. That's about Furina's disposition. Oh, I'll just go this way. Hey, what's that? Oh. What is this now? Missions. Okay, whatever. Hello. I want your finest Furina, please.
Did Catherine really give us the right address? She lives here?
Wow, Paimon sounds really judgmental, doesn't she?
Not that there's anything wrong with this place. It's just, a bit of a step down from the Palais Marmonia.
Well, she's not an Archon anymore, so...
You know, it's common courtesy to make sure the homeowner isn't in earshot when you're denigrating their abode.
She sounds so sad. Well, maybe because Paimon doesn't know when to keep her mouth shut.
Okay, when did popping out of thin air become all the rage? First Catherine and now you?
I was just out on a shopping trip. I ran out of macaroni, so I went to grab a few more bags.
You would think she was in college.
I used to have a much wider range of choices.
You
when
still
it came to
do,
food.
though. That's...
But now I'm finding that simple, traditional home cooking can be quite delicious too.
She'd make a very excellent future ex-wife.
Not at all. As long as you have different kinds of sauces in, you can have macaroni and tomato sauce one week, macaroni and bolognese the next.
See, this is what I mean. It's like with storytelling in Hoyoverse. I don't know if it's the devs over there are just, you know, overworked and they don't get to eat, but somehow every single quest you go on works in some talk about food. It's astounding. 50 years from now, 100, 200 years from now, historians are going to look back on this and be like, how did they do that? It was like a magic moment, you know, everything you did, it was just involved food somehow.
Oh, sounds like you're really struggling to cope.
Is there a fly swatter? Because I just want to right out of the air. Is it because you have to do all your cooking now?
How rude! Questioning my cooking skills. The audacity!
Well, I mean, I admire the simplicity of what she wants. She is extremely humble, it seems. It's like, even though Daddy Neuvillette is taking care of her, she's not asking for expensive, extravagant meals and the finest ingredients. She's living humbly. She's like I said, a college student. You know, when you just trying to scrape by, or you have money but you don't want to spend it, you go with the ramen and that. So now, if anyone's questioning cooking skills, I'd like to see her cook against A, who doesn't know how to cook. I'm sure she does. I'm sure she knows. Furina, I'm sure is a great cook. But
It's not like I have a very eventful life these days. Actually, I barely leave the house. So I don't see how it's unusual that my meals are a little simpler now too.
yeah, I had a feeling she would be like this. You know, after being, you know, relieved of the duty of having to play as Focalor, you know, she would be able to just kind of live her life, and this is the kind of life she would just prefer to live, just a smaller, more humble, low maintenance kind of life.
Besides, I'm sure I could master dishes like la lettre focilor or blubber profiteroles in no time
Profiteroles.
if I felt so inclined.
Ah, there it is. You don't know how to cook.
Not yet, maybe, but... Anyway, what are you even doing here? I do hope you didn't come here just to ogle at my fall from grace. Let me first be clear that I'm not taking guests at this time. So if you're just here to clown around, then please be on your way. Shoo!
You do realize you're not the Archon anymore. So, you have no power here.
Sorry! We're sorry! Please don't be mad!
I was just showing concern for your well-being. Yeah, by saying about her coping skills. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly! What the traveler said! Paimon wasn't trying to make fun of you. Hang on a sec, you weren't exactly holding back either.
My help? Well, maybe you're forgetting that I'm no longer the mighty Hydro Archon. I don't even have a vision, you know.
I love how she brings that up, because keep that in mind for later.
Don't worry, it's nothing that serious. It's just very specific, and you're the one with the power to help.
You're the only person for the job.
Oh? Well, if that's the case, then fine. I'll spare you the lecture about your attitude just now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with Furina on this one. They are coming at her with a bit of an attitude. They are... Before going into this, I saw a lot of people saying on different videos that Paimon and Traveler are a bit rude to her throughout this this quest, and I see it. I see it. They're like, I don't know what it was, but they just decided to take these two characters that are normally so nice, and they're just making them jerks to this girl who's just suffered for 500 years. In the words of a great man, what were they thinking?
So tell me, what specifically makes this matter so specific?
You tell Furina about the troop's plan for its final
I
performance.
see. I knew you couldn't have come all this way just to amuse yourselves at my expense. After all, I was once the brightest star in all of Fontaine, well versed in all the various performing arts. A mere musical is well within my capabilities. But given the present circumstances, I'm afraid I must regretfully decline your casting request.
Okay, Furina. I'm being real nice here. I'm being real nice. Now, you might want to change your attitude about that.
How come? It sounds like this would be a breeze for you.
True, but I have made a decision to retire from the stage.
Retire, you're not that old.
Although I am no longer required to play the role of the Hydro Archon, the time I spent inhabiting that character has left an indelible mark on me.
Yeah, we noticed.
Centuries of pretending to be a different person changes you completely. I'm not the same person I once was. Of course, that can't be undone now. It's too late, and I have no intention of reinventing myself all over again. But at least I can say that I no longer desire to play any new roles.
Paimon can understand, but this is just a one-off part to fill in for someone who's sick. Surely that's okay.
Whether it's a one-off or not, it's a boundary that I've committed to no longer cross.
Foreshadowing, of course.
If I make an exception to the rule now, I'm just leaving a back door for myself, which would be the same as not having a boundary in the first place.
Well, not really, because once the boundary's gone, it's gone. If you have the back door open, you can always close it.
So I'm not going to perform, and that is that.
Okay.
And then it comes up, the
Open
quest is
thanking
completed.
you. Well, is there anything else we can do to help out the troop? Otherwise, they'll just have to disband without any fanfare. Do you know any other actors who might be interested in the role?
Nope.
Short and to the point. Okay.
I've never been great at maintaining relationships. Besides, anyone I've ever worked with probably couldn't wait to get rid of me.
And they've all died, so...
Since I'm just an ordinary person now, they'll probably just laugh in my face if I go asking them for help. Look, I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry I drew a line in the sand without thinking about every possible grain on the other side.
Well, is there anything else we can do? This performance really means a lot to the guy we're working for.
Okay, see, this is what I mean, and what people were, you know, if it was any other case, if it was you or me, if we went up to Furina and we asked her to do this and she said no, we would have been fine with it. We were like, okay, you know, thanks anyway. You know, we would respect her decision. Of course, these are just characters created, so they're forced to do this. But the fact that this is even an option to do right now, this constant pestering her to, oh, come on, do it. Oh, don't you know anyone else? What, really? You don't, like, just go back to the fat guy and say, hey, she wouldn't do it, and sorry.
Have I not made myself clear?
Apparently not.
You're barking up the wrong tree. I don't want this job, nor do I know of anyone else who would.
But why?
Sorry. I didn't mean for that to sound
No,
so
they need to
harsh.
hear it.
I wish I could help, really. But if I thought I had the answer to this problem, I would have said so by now.
It's all right, Furina. Paimon just wanted to make sure we tried everything. Oh, everyone in the troupe will be so disappointed.
She should have done like a really long, drawn-out sigh.
Yeah, I guess that's all we can do now. All right, then. We'll see you around, Furina.
Hopefully not, because I think you've just been complete jerks to this woman.
Toodaloo to you, too. I'm going home to take a rest now.
You're not going to say something insulting like, enjoy your miserable little house. And then they show her inside and she's like bawling because these two people were just so freaking mean to her. Go to yesterday.
It's too bad, but we have to respect Furina's decision.
Well, you should have respected it the first time she said it.
Huh? What's going
Also,
on?
I love the fact that Catherine has been kind of confirmed to be like a robot. So, like, in the beginning, people were pointing out the fact that she has, like, a keyhole on the back of her, you know, on her clothes or her neck or something. They're like, oh, it'd be really funny if Catherine was actually, like, robot. That's why she's the same in all the regions. And it turns out that she really is, like, a type of robot. Like an android or some crap like that.
That's besides the point.
Yeah, see, she's got, like, this keyhole going on.
Why did you start looking for a replacement without my consent? When did I tell you I'm going to take a step back?
I don't know, when you were sitting there hacking up a lung and coughing up blood.
You didn't need to say it. We've known each other for how long now? We know the signs. But you never tell us about your illness, even when it's clearly flaring up.
And that gives you the right to make a decision on my behalf?
Yeah, because we can't very well have you dying on stage, now can we?
Shortly after you left, the troupe's lead actress came to the Adventurers Guild. She believes that she's healthy enough to perform. Excuse me, but can you both take a moment to discuss something else for now? The adventurer assigned to your commission has returned.
Sorry, I was just dealing with a little misunderstanding. So, how did your conversation with Furina go?
It went.
Sadly, it's a no from her. We tried to persuade her, but she wasn't having it. She doesn't want to play the role for personal reasons.
You didn't try to persuade her, you were just outright being mean to her.
I see. Well, circumstances have changed a little, so maybe that's not such bad news after all. You see, our leading lady has just informed me that she's well enough to make it to the show after all. Staging the musical with the full original cast was always the dream, of course.
Oh, right! Sounds like everything worked itself out then.
Alright, we can manage to... Yeah.
Yeah, she'd be livid. We'd get the scolding of a lifetime.
Jeez, is Lady Furina really so harsh with people?
Only joking, calm down. So, guess we can consider this case closed now, huh?
Quest completed.
Despite the fact that we failed to complete the commission, we were still racking our brains for ideas on the way back here.
Look, there's no point arguing with you about this anymore. You've made yourself very clear, so I'll stop looking for a replacement. This is the last chance we have, though. If your illness flares up again, there won't be time to find anyone to replace you. So, are you absolutely sure you'll be able to handle it? The whole team is putting everything they have into this final performance.
You want us to grill her?
It goes ahead.
You want us to grill her like we were grilling Furina? You know, because we don't take no for an answer, apparently.
Yes, I'm completely confident. I've been taking a new medication from the doctor, and it's working brilliantly. I'll definitely be able to tough it out until the performance day. I share everyone's desire to commemorate all our years as a troupe with a proper farewell show. So the last thing I want is to be left out. Every one of us thinks of this troupe as their home, myself included.
You're right. I'm sorry. I let myself get too worried about the show. I should have asked for your permission first.
All's well that ends well. Sounds like the show will go on.
Wait here a second. Where am I going?
Sure.
Where am I going? Am I going to lay down the law? Oh. Furina's skulking about. Oh. I thought he was about to punch her. It's like,
I was just passing by because I realized I forgot a couple of items on my shopping list.
now, if this was anyone else, we'd be surrounded by mechs at this point. Just some random person grabbing Furina like this, but no, because we're the Traveler, we can do whatever we want. Imagine you're a person walking by and you see this guy grabbing onto Furina's arm, her looking like this.
All right, I'm coming. No need to drag me.
All right, I'm coming. Also, I'll follow you. She likes it a little rough.
Hello, one and all. I couldn't help but overhear your conversation just now.
Furina? Didn't you say you were gonna take a rest at home? What are you doing here?
Sleepwalking, ooh!
I was just ever so slightly concerned about the situation you mentioned. Yes, a teensy bit concerned, that's all. When you came to talk with me earlier, I jumped right to explaining my position and said some strongly worded things. And all before I even had a full grasp of the situation. Anyway, I just feel a bit bad about how it went down.
Well...
I'm sorry, Paimon.
Oh, she should be the one apologizing to you. Telling you about coping and having to just be so insistent, like, no, come on, why don't you just do it? Just once. Like, so no, Paimon should be apologizing.
Oh, it's totally fine. Paimon didn't take any of that personally.
You really have a knack for asking the most uncomfortable questions, don't you?
Yeah.
I felt very sheepish, having had a change of heart after flatly refusing you. And then, to make matters worse, you caught me. But in any case, it sounds like the issue has already been resolved.
Yeah. When they said they were gonna ask for your help, I almost had a heart attack. I mean, how could we be worthy of having Lady Furina star in our show?
I believe the part about him having a heart attack. I don't believe it's because of the reason he said.
There's no need to think like that. And no need to keep addressing me as lady. Just Furina is fine. I was wondering, if this troupe is so important to all of you, why does it have to disband? If the difficulties are purely financial, then there must be a solution. You could put the shows on pause while you look for a sponsor, for instance. Everyone seems so devoted to the troupe. I'm sure if you keep chipping away, you'll find a way through.
We all want to believe that, but some things are just beyond our control.
Or you all could just ask me for a small sum of money, because like I said, I've got about, I don't know, 40, 50, 60 million more right now, and I have no idea what to do with it.
Everything's been going downhill ever since we lost our director. She was the heart and soul of our troupe. She kept us going.
Her name was O'Reilly, and she was the founder as well as the artistic director of our troupe. And tragically, she was a victim in the serial disappearances case.
Oh, I think I remember that name.
What?
So she was, yeah, she's gone. She was, you know, exposed to the primordial seawater, so she was dissolved.
That's actually how I recognized these two. It was all thanks to their efforts that the true culprit was brought to justice. But still, no sentence can bring our director back to us.
Yeah, that is sad. Yeah, I recognize, because there was like 7, 8 names or something like that, and I do remember that name.
She was a loyal fan of your performances, Miss Furina. They were what first inspired her to get into musical theater. She rallied many people around her who were destitute or had lost their sense of purpose in life, and convinced them to join her troupe. She wrote her own scripts, acted on stage, and mentored each and every one of us. People loved our performances back then. We seemed to be going from strength to strength. Things were really looking up for us.
And then she dissolved.
And then disaster struck.
Yeah. After that, the entire troupe fell into disarray. None of us know anything about script writing, let alone how to handle the business side of things. We've been doing the best we can. But despite our efforts, things are slowly but surely falling apart. It's agonizing. But ultimately, we'd rather end things now on our own terms than stick it out to the bitter end and watch all our dreams turn to dust.
Oh.
What a terrible waste. A gifted artist from humble beginnings who achieved so much and no doubt had much more to give. And then her life was so cruelly taken.
Yeah. Well, so wait, don't the okay, so everyone was just an Oceanid. Don't the Oceanids just return to the water? They're not going to be human anymore, but don't they just kind of like the all the ones that we saw in the Fountain of Lucine? They're still there in the water, it seems. They're just not human anymore. So they're still around, I guess, but
I suppose it's fair to say then that this final show, besides being your farewell to the stage, is also your final gift for her?
Yes, exactly. We all miss her terribly.
of course it has to be a sob story to get Furina to do it, right?
Well, good thing I followed the traveler here. After hearing this tragic tale, I can no longer stand by and do nothing.
Furina.
I know what you're thinking, but I by no means plan to cross the boundary I've set for myself. Besides, they're no longer looking for a replacement anyway. I can, however, provide some artistic guidance from the vantage point of a highly experienced audience member. But only if you feel this is something that would help, of course.
Oh, most definitely. We'll take any guidance that you can give.
We unfortunately don't have any budget for a consultant, though. Will that be a problem?
Again, I'm a walking bank at this point.
I don't need any compensation. All I'd ask in return, if you're willing, is that you tell me some more about the life and work of your late director. Something I've begun to realize since my departure from the Opera Epicles is that there's a lot you don't see when you observe everything from on high. The law only judges criminal behavior and does not weigh human emotion. The court's verdict can settle the question of criminal liability, but...
Which is weird for her to say. It's like, she's like, oh, from ruling on high, but it showed her in like the little flashback type things that she was meeting with citizens and stuff like that, people waiting in line, and so she would know stuff like this. I mean, I guess it's different because she's basically taking appointments and stuff like that, so it's still kind of very select and, you know, like a VIP kind of thing. She's not seeing Fontaine as a whole, you know, the day-to-day of everyone's lives and what's going on. So like the first person, the woman comes in, if she didn't say anything about her son, Furina wouldn't have known that he was sick or anything. Like she had heard it because she met with her before, apparently, but if she didn't have these kinds of like VIP interactions, she doesn't know what's really going on in everyone's life.
What about all the unresolved emotions of the parties involved? What happens to them?
They come pouring out and flow away into infinity and beyond.
An interesting answer. But if you ask me, I think all emotion shall ultimately return home to the heart and slowly settle with the passage of time. Take, par exemple, how this troupe pines for their late director. Things such as this I have never witnessed before, and so I should like to observe, perchance to understand.
Still a fan of your old dramatic monologues then, huh? You just want to get back in on the action, don't you?
No. This is a completely different situation. Pearls before swine.
The name's not Swine, it's Paimon!
Would you be willing to join me? Come on, take a break from adventure.
Since
and
it's
listen
you,
to
I'll
a
do it.
story.
Actually, since it's related to this.
Thank you all so much. Our director was a huge fan of Miss Furina's performances, as of course we all are. All right, follow me. We'll go to our usual practice space. Please excuse the size. It's a little on the smaller side.
Maybe you should step out of the room then. Okay. Rehearsal area. Yeah. Enter the rehearsal location. Please enter. Come forward.
Huh? Lady Furina?
What's Lady Furina doing here?
It's come to smite everyone.
Hello all. Allow me to explain. As of today, Miss Furina will be supporting our production of the Little Oceanid in the role of artistic consultant.
I looked at that and I thought it said autistic consultant.
These two over here are
Wow.
the ones that made it possible. They kindly reached out to Miss Furina on our behalf. I'm sure they need no introduction.
Oh, just me, the traveler. I've been to every nation so far, doing heroic deeds, slaying gods, making friends with gods, and just being an all-around awesome total badass. Nice to meet you.
You bet! That was the trial of the century!
Oh yeah, and we bested the God of Justice, so there's that.
You helped bring our director's murderer to justice. We can't thank you enough.
Well, I mean, even that was it was still sad in the end, because it's not like the guy was doing it maliciously. He was just trying to bring back his wife or find a way to bring her back. But, he did kind of kill or disintegrate or dissipate, whatever you want to call it, a lot of women. So.
Oh, please don't mention it. We're just here to join in on the fun.
So, you were saying the Little Oceanid?
Yeah, that's the name of our final show. It's an unfinished script left behind by our director.
Huh.
One of our greatest regrets is that she never got to complete it. So, if we can bring it to the stage and make it a successful show, we can all take some solace in that.
Wait, but if it's not finished, then...
Yeah, we've been battling issues on every front, trying to realize this dream. Anyway, let me give you a quick summary of what the story's all about.
Is it gonna pop up to black with a bunch of the... He quickly goes through the story.
The protagonist
Okay.
of the story is a young Oceanid who transforms herself into human form, despite the protests of her family. She longed to live just like any other human, and sure enough, she found friendship and even love. Everything seemed perfect. But one day,
The Fire
her
Nation
true
attacked.
identity was exposed, and her world came crashing down around her.
So far, so good. A classic tale. What happened after that?
Oh, she became the Hydro Archon and... Oh, wait, sorry, that's Furina.
That's one of the issues we've been trying to deal with. Unfortunately, this was as far as the director got with her script. We need a proper ending so we can bring this musical to the stage. But people have different opinions on which direction to take it in.
We still haven't decided between a happy ending or a true-to-life tragedy.
By true to life, you mean the director's sudden disappearance?
Yeah, like they say, truth is stranger than fiction. But then there's the question of whether we really want to use the stage to pass our raw pain onto the audience.
Exactly. A lot of the time, people come to watch a show just hoping for some light entertainment. We have to consider their emotional stake in this, not just... And one last thing. We're still waiting on confirmation from two of our main actors. The first is Paulo, who plays the protagonist's lover. He's locked himself away to focus on writing an ending for the script, but the deadline's passed and we still haven't heard from him.
He died.
The other is Villemont, who plays the main antagonist. He took the director's death pretty hard. Hasn't set foot in the city since.
Oh boy. Now we have to go talk to everyone.
He did write to us, promising that he'll be there for the final performance, but we haven't seen or heard from him since. So we're not really sure what to make of that.
Huh. Although, now that we have Miss Furina helping us, maybe we should take the opportunity to get everyone back together.
What opportunity? What do you mean?
Maybe you're unaware, but your name has always been like a rallying cry for us.
Lady Furina!
Our director was constantly singing your praises. All of us look up to you as a role model.
Oh, stop. You're making me all flustered. Although, not in a bad way.
We gotta watch out for that buildup of a hydro from her person.
I suspect the reason they're dragging their feet is that they have their doubts about whether the show will really go ahead, considering all the issues you've been facing. But one by one, all the obstacles are being removed. Now is the time to rally the troops.
For victory!
Makes sense. Okay, priority number 1, let's check in with Paulo and see where he's at with the ending. He went back to Poisson a few days ago. Said that
Poisson.
staying in a friend's home might help him to relax and escape the feeling of isolation.
I thought the last thing his friend would want right now would be to take visitors, given that Poisson was
Poisson.
flooded not too long ago. But I guess it's the opposite. A friend in need and all that.
Yeah, maybe he could use some company.
Poisson.
Poisson.
Nothing. I suppose my presence will be indispensable if we are to restore his faith in the show. So allons-y. To Poisson!
Allons-y! Was she the doctor now? Okay, let's see. Go to Poisson! Le Poisson, le Poisson. Okay, we're in La Poisson. Allons-y! Hello, I'm the doctor. I mean, a French doctor. Actually, I think Furina would make a good doctor. He's already dressed for the part. Oh boy, here we are in Poisson. Hee hee hee, ha ha ha. Hello. Mr. whatever your name was again.
If I remember correctly, this is where he's staying.
Okay.
Who is it?
Housekeeping.
It's me. Is the script ready?
Not on the hair of my chinny chin chin.
You came all the way here for that?
Yes. And all huff and all puff,
all right.
and I'm coming
Forget
in.
that for now. Just come on out. We've got some great news.
Nice try. Look, just give me some time, okay? I'm just wrapping up this last part of the script. I'll be out once I'm done.
Okay then. Looking forward to your masterpiece.
So, as expected, he's missed the deadline.
Well, he'll be dead on the line soon enough.
The ending is one of the most important parts of the show.
I was gonna make a secret window reference there, but nah.
Even once he's done, it isn't final until we've all had the chance to read through and make sure we agree on it.
Someone told me they'd
Oh,
just seen you
boy.
in Poisson. I assumed it was a case of mistaken identity, but sure enough, here you are. And Furina, too.
Yes, just whatever anyone does, just don't bring up the late director or any of that, because we don't need Navia crying again.
I was wondering if we might run into her.
So, you're here for Palo? Looks like you could be a while, so feel free to take a stroll around town in the meantime. I've made all the arrangements already.
Oh, it's okay. We can just wait here.
Wait,
Thank you for being so considerate, Miss Navia. That sounds wonderful. We'll take that stroll.
She stuck her finger up his ass.
Get over here,
Get
you!
out.
How oblivious are you?
How are things in Poisson now? Any better?
Things are on the mend, but it's a slow process. Some people may never recover from the trauma they experienced.
Oh god, we need to wrap this up quickly.
I'm sorry to hear that. I wish there was something I could do.
If I could bring Malus and Silver back, and then she's like, "Ah."
Please, must our conversations take such a depressing turn every time we meet? We all have painful memories, but we don't have to let them cloud everything we do. And if you're trying to make a new start, perhaps it's best if you don't bring up the past all the time.
Yeah, Hakuna Matata.
Thank you for your words of comfort. You make a very good point. But for now, at least, I think I should stay with the way I'm feeling for a while longer.
It's okay. These things take time. Moving on from a painful experience is easier said than done.
Yeah, and most people don't have to deal with a painful experience for 500 years.
Which brings me to why I'm here. I thought you should probably know that not everyone here is ready to forgive and forget after the Hydro Archon's inaction in the face of catastrophe. To avoid upsetting the peace, I told the townspeople that everyone here is a member of the theater troupe, and that you are just an actress playing the role of Furina. It's not a perfect solution, but hopefully it means you won't have to lie low while you're here.
So, do the people not know it's because of Furina they're still alive?
That's so thoughtful of you, Navia.
Well, what do you expect? I am the courageous and considerate president of Spina di Rosula, after all, like my father before me. Anyway, that was all. Look after her now.
It's kind of
Off
awkward.
we go then. Let's take a look up there. I don't have any friends that I can be frank and honest with, so maybe she's right. You're the closest thing to friends that I have.
And we're really not even friends. We're just kind of like acquaintances. This is really, really awkward. The fact that this girl is still being like ostracized by some people, despite the fact that they're still alive because of her. If it wasn't for her and Focalor and all that planning for 500 years, as soon as it flooded, they all would have been dissolved. So maybe be a little nicer to the girl. Huh.
I'm so grateful that Miss Nafia was so understanding. To be perfectly honest, I didn't know if I was ready to meet her. It's always easiest to just run away from your problems. But that never fixes anything. You can't get around the obstacles without facing them.
So that's why you were nervous when they brought up Poisson.
Poisson.
Yeah. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't scared of coming back here. Still, I felt it was something I had to do. As I was saying before, I want to see for myself the things that I never could in the past.
Well, I can show you the world.
I'd be overjoyed if the people here could find it in their hearts to forgive me. But they're more likely to unleash a tirade of
Wow.
vitriol against me.
They're like
Which,
really
of course,
just,
I completely understand and accept.
they're just like, seriously, people, you wouldn't be giving her those evil looks. You wouldn't even be able to give her those evil looks if it wasn't for her saving your stupid ass. So be a little nicer, okay?
Yeah, I can tell people are watching me. I'm sure some people here see the idea of someone coming to Poisson dressed as the Hydro Archon as extremely disrespectful. I used to be terrified of the gaze of other people, especially when they had suspicion or resentment in their eyes. I guess I wasn't quite ready for this after all.
I'm not surprised you're making yourself go through all of this.
What do you mean by that? You expected me to just keep running and hiding from my responsibility forever?
Look! There seems to be a crowd gathering over there.
Probably time we made a move. How about we check out Spina di Rosula's ship? We should have a view of the whole of Poisson from there.
Surely enough to convince anyone to become a wanderer.
I'm sorry. You probably just wanted a relaxing stroll. And here I am dumping all this heavy stuff on you.
Yeah, I hate getting dumped on.
We
All
don't
this
mind.
poop.
It's actually refreshing to see a different side of you.
Great. Well, I appreciate your company, so please don't disappear just yet.
I'll stay here as long as you want me to.
I don't know whether you can tell, but the years of suffering and loneliness aren't the only reason I have a hard time facing up to who I used to be. As I stand here by the ship, I can't get the images of the rising water out of my mind. One after another, people were taken by the water. All those treasured lives and memories washed out of existence in an instant. They thought their god would protect them. They had absolute faith that when disaster struck, a divine power would save them from harm. And all the while, I played my part to perfection to convince them that was true. But then the floodwaters finally came, and the Hydro Archon did nothing.
You shouldn't look at it like that. You were only doing your duty.
I've had to go through so many moments like that for the sake of protecting the truth. As time went on, it got harder and harder to bear, and I became more lonely and isolated. Eventually, I realized I had nothing left except the truth. I became terrified of completely failing in my task, and was haunted by the thought of being left all alone, weeping on my throne. Fortunately, we were able to avoid the worst-case scenario thanks to the help of heroic individuals such as yourselves. Everyone rose to their responsibilities, and I finally regained my freedom. But on some level, freedom also means no longer being needed. I have no further use to people.
Honestly, at this point, sometimes that's not a bad thing. You can be left alone to do what you want to do and not have to worry about the needs of others.
Paimon would have never imagined you'd see it that way.
Reward?
You can finally speak from your heart, or speak your heart. You don't have to be anguished and alone anymore.
I guess so. Back then, I didn't even dare to dream about having someone to confide in. I was scared of someone recognizing me for who I truly was, and exposing the secret I swore to protect. Believe in the Furina you see on stage. She is the one you can trust. I had to keep all my feelings, all my curiosity about life to myself. No one could be allowed to know. That's what I really meant when I said I'm no good at maintaining relationships.
So that's where you were coming from. Paimon totally thought you were just a bit of a diva at heart.
Could you please get off my case? I don't know what's gotten into you today.
Yeah, really.
I'm making an effort here. You could at least try to do the same.
What I was meant to say, she doesn't like to see you so down. Do you feel better having gotten all this?
I do. I once had nothing but the truth, and now I'm finally free to live my own life again. And even though I have no idea where I'm going right now, at least the choice is in my hands.
The power is yours!
All right, it's about time to head back. Paulo should have finished the ending by now.
Yeah, he better have.
Sure. Okay, let's head back and check it out.
Is there really not much anything to do with this quest except for just going around places? Because normally there's something to fight at some point. Yeah. I didn't die,
you say
hopefully.
you needed to watch what you eat? You're supposed to be cutting down on fried foods, not wolfing down copious quantities of fish and chips, you know?
Come on. It's not every day we get to dine at Spina di Rosula's expense. Can you believe how generous she is? I'm not about to pass on free food. Anyway, my character doesn't need to be slim and good-looking. That's your job.
Are you kidding me right now? It's not your character's health I'm worried about, it's yours.
Really? Right in front of my salad?
I've spent my whole life battling the effects of ill health, and it kills me to watch you willingly ruin yours by filling yourself up with junk all the time.
You know, I'm starting to feel personally attacked.
Oh
No.
no. Looks like they're arguing again.
I really don't need much of anything.
We're back! Could you maybe put your differences aside for a moment?
Ah, you're back. We've been enjoying Spina di Rosula's VIP treatment in your stead. Paulo's nearly done. We shouldn't have to wait too much longer.
Great! So you were discussing your characters, right? We heard she's playing the Oceanid who turns into a human girl. What about you?
Me? I'm an Oceanid too.
Me? I'm not a little girl.
He was originally supposed to take the form of a crane, but he outgrew that role. Well, the costume at least. So now he's playing the boar instead.
Nice.
Sorry.
The boar's not a bad character, actually. He's the one who raises the little Oceanid, yes?
That's right. He has some pretty memorable lines too.
I doubt that.
Like when he imparts some solemn words of wisdom to the little Oceanid.
I solemnly swear that I am up to no good.
If you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one. You will face suffering and loneliness. Is this truly what you want?
Wait, that sounds kind of familiar.
It's the most important line in the whole script. I think it's a symbolic statement about our director's life and legacy. She kept quiet about all the trials and tribulations she faced in running our troupe, allowing us to devote ourselves fully to performing.
Yeah, it also sounds like someone else here.
It was only after she was gone that we realized how tough her job really was.
You mentioned earlier that the troupe is like your home.
Yeah. I was born with an incurable illness, and once my family found out it couldn't be treated, they decided they didn't want me anymore.
What kind of illness did you have? I don't know. It's just whatever the script needs it to be.
I spent some years taking whatever work I could find and trying to manage my illness with various medicines. But whenever I had a bad flare-up, I'd be lying in an alleyway for days at a time. It was like that until the director found me one day. She told me I had a great voice and asked if I was interested in studying singing from her. I said yes. She took me under her wing, taught me to both sing and act, helped me find Mora for my meds, took care of me when my condition decided to flare up. I know it was all a huge burden on her.
She sounds like a really incredible person.
She really was. She gave everything she had to her troupe and the people in it. All of us were so proud to call her our director. I was a lost child too when she found me. As the child of a murderer, my parents weren't around when I was little, so I got sent to an orphanage. The other kids were always picking fights with me. They'd say things like, "Come on, you must be pretty tough if you're the son of a murderer." It was just to taunt me, though. I was an easy target, and they knew it. One day, I got beaten up so bad that I just couldn't take it anymore, so I ran away. I lost all faith in humanity by that point. Thought the whole world was out to get me.
Let me guess. Fortunately, the next person you ran into was the director.
Yeah. For the first time in my life, I was somewhere I felt safe. And I promised myself I'd stay here until the day the group parted ways.
The day you hoped would never come.
Oh, you're finally done? Get your butt over here. There's someone I need to introduce you to. This is our new artistic consultant, Miss Furina.
Furina? The Furina? Oh my god, how did you manage to wrangle that?
Oh my god. Is that the first time they've said, oh my god? Like, they've sworn, not swore, like, wouldn't swear, but they've said, like, scumbag, I think, at one point, and...
Please, the honor is all mine. I was profoundly moved to hear about your troupe and your wonderful director. I just wanted to do something to help.
Same here.
Even so, this is just... Oh, wow. I'm sorry. I'll try to calm down.
Oh, wow.
Where was I? Ah, yes, the script, of course. Let me give you a rundown of how the story unfolds in my version of the script. I'm sure you're already familiar with the beginning of the story. A little Oceanid decides she wants to become a human against the wishes of her family. She finds love and friendship in the bustling city. But then, disaster strikes.
The Fire Nation attacks.
The people start to notice that all the fresh water in the surrounding area is slowly disappearing. The soil is becoming arid, plants and flowers are withering, and the people begin to panic. The little Oceanid, Cleo, and her lover decide to do something about it and investigate the truth of the matter together.
I guess you could say her name is Miss Cleo.
In the end, they discover that all the waste and pollution created by humans over the years has caused the fresh water to flee the land, as if driven by a consciousness of its own.
Interesting.
Consciousness? You mean the water is sentient?
The water is people!
Water as a conscious entity. There's actually quite a few stories that explore this theme.
I mean, they're not really stories, since we know for a fact in this world there's Oceanids and, you know, there's other entities that can inhabit the water that are conscious beings. So, I mean...
Since the little Oceanid is a water spirit, she immediately understands how the water is feeling. She then tells her lover about her true identity, as well as the truth behind the crisis. Her lover accepts her for who she is, and works with her to find a way to bring the water back. However, unbeknownst to them, there were some people eavesdropping when she revealed her secret.
Evil!
The little Oceanid is accused of being directly responsible for driving the water away, and faces the greatest dilemma of her life.
And then?
She dies.
In the end, she makes the brave decision to sacrifice herself to save her lover, and the rest of humanity.
Huh? But didn't they all treat Cleo like a villain? Why would she want to save them after that?
Well, she mainly wanted to save her lover, plus everyone who'd stood up for her.
Through her love for her human partner, she was able to find an even greater love, one that extended to all of humanity. Surely the biggest strength of Cleo's character.
There's actually something else that bothers me. You know the protagonist is supposed to represent the director, right? And she never had the chance to become a hero in our world. If we're serious about dedicating this show to her memory, we should make the ending as true to life as possible.
Have her dissolve?
What about if the little Oceanid is hounded to death by people who hate her, her lover makes sure her secret never gets out, and humanity continues down the path to extinction?
Extinction?
That sounds like too cruel of an ending to me, and perhaps a little irresponsible to present to the audience.
That ending would be a perfect mirror to Director Aureli's death, both arbitrary and meaningless. On the day when she went missing, Director Aurelie had instructed us all, somewhat out of the blue, to leave the court of Fontaine and wait for her outside the city. We waited and waited at the rendezvous point, but she never came. By the time we returned to the city, she disappeared without a trace. We looked for her. The Gardamix looked for her, but she was nowhere to be found. Increasingly, all the signs seemed to point to her being the latest victim in the serial disappearances case.
The director was the kindest soul in the world, yet she was senselessly sacrificed for the sake of a so-called experiment by someone who had nothing to do with her at all.
But doesn't the way she suddenly told you to leave the city suggest that maybe she had some sense of what was about to happen?
Yeah.
It almost seems as if she was moving you to safety.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it sounds like.
I've been trying to follow up on that ever since, but all my efforts so far have turned up nothing. Villemont might know something, but he won't open up to me.
Villemont? The one who's playing the role of the villain?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's been overwhelmed by grief. I think the director's death hit him hardest of all.
Which is perfect for why he's playing the villain. No better way to get out all that grief sometimes than by playing evil.
Grief? Guilt, more like. Also, I have a hard time imagining that anyone took it harder than me.
I like how humble this man is.
Because, well, speaking of the play being true to life, I was deeply, madly in love with Aurelie.
Okay, how old was she and how old are you?
What? You kept that one quiet.
Like, seriously, how old was this woman? Because this dude doesn't look that old. And, what's his name? Tubby was like, oh yeah, I was a kid. And he's clearly a young, like an adult now. So how old is this woman? I'm like, here I am thinking like it's some older woman, like in her 50s or 60s or something.
It's time to be upfront with you all. No more keeping secrets from each other. We'll never be able to agree on the ending if we can't be honest about how we feel. I did tell her how I felt once, but she turned me down pretty much straight away.
He was like, I'm way too old for you.
She said that we were all like brothers and sisters to her, and she'd never considered us as potential romantic partners.
Well, unless we go to some other nation where that sort of thing's allowed.
Not that it came as a shock or anything. It was what I was expecting to hear. So I told her I'd always be there for the troupe, and I'd always be there for her.
Well, I can't wait to get to the America version in the game. You can see people with their sisters.
I said, maybe one day in the future, when everyone's settled into their own lives and on the up and up, and managing the troupe no longer required her constant attention, well, maybe then she could reconsider what she really wanted in her life. And now, that day will never come.
Paulo.
So if I'm the one writing this ending, then I'm gonna make sure it does right by Aurelie. I won't let anyone get in the way of that.
In that case, you have to straighten things out with Villemont once and for all, face to face.
Time to duel.
We've all had our differences of opinion over the ending, but those two have never seen eye to eye on anything. One of them has to compromise if we're ever going to reach a final decision.
Well, if that's where we're at, looks like it's time to go visit Villemont.
Thought it was Villemont.
Are you ready to face the truth?
Honestly, I'm slightly terrified. But for the sake of our final performance, I'll do whatever it takes. Funny you should ask, though. You really do get what I'm going through right now.
I'm pretty sure she does, you know, but she's been doing it for centuries longer.
I certainly do. Come on, everyone. Allons-y!
Allons-y! Alright, where are we going next? This life, just like a light trickle of song. Look for Villemont. Alright, where are you, Villemont? That one? I love how she says Allons-y. Allons-y! Now if she was to say Geronimo, that'd be great. Where are we going? I don't know where we're going.
This is tough going. Delphi, are you sure you can manage in your condition?
I could ask you the same question. Try to keep up.
Try to keep up. Can I fight something, please? Can there be an ambush of like... Yes, finally.
Tough enough already without a...
Don't worry. We should all be fine with the traveler here. We don't need to take a detour. Wait, why are you all looking at me? You're not seriously expecting me to fight, are you?
We're just curious, that's all. I don't think anyone's ever seen Furina in a fight before.
Yeah, but don't you remember why? The Hydro Archon willingly gave up all her power so it could be converted into indemnitium. Miss Furina said so herself.
Precisely. And I'm not even the Hydro Archon anymore, so all my power is gone anyway.
So now all she can do is just do human things like punching and kicking. And giving it a serious talking to.
As much as it pains me, unfortunately, I should just stay put. I'm more like a damsel in distress more than anything.
That
I can be
so
your
smug.
prince.
Ugh, secondhand embarrassment is unbearable.
C'est la vie. This doesn't require god-level powers. Don't you know anything about self-defense? Jesus. Why are they being so mean?
Alas, I am forced to watch on helplessly as a more brave and seasoned adventurer than I swoops in to save the day.
Aw, too bad. I was so pumped to feast my eyes on fight mode Furina.
Sorry to leave all the heavy lifting to you.
Well, if anyone here knows something about heavy, it'd be you.
Don't worry, piece of cake.
Don't say that in front of him. So we just fight off some...
Stabilize!
There is no escape.
The wind knows.
So...
To oblivion.
How much is gonna pop up after this? Are we gonna have like mechs coming out and all that great crap? Yep.
Solidify! I will have...
Soliloquy!
Illusion shattered. Inazuma shines eternal.
Alright.
Bravo!
Okay.
Good show. You certainly
Yay!
loved your
Oh, up here?
reputation.
Yeah, thank you. Anyway, the path is cleared now, so onwards and upwards.
Yeah, onwards and upwards.
Vilma, are you there?
No, I'm not. Go home.
Huh? Oh, it's you guys. Wait, what's Lady Furina doing here?
Came to see you.
I can explain. We've been rounding up the whole troop. We now have everyone except you.
Hopefully explains the whole sequence of events so far to the
So-
film all.
You think knowing the truth about the director's disappearance will help you write an ending to the script that pleases everyone?
No.
I care just as much as everyone else about making the little Oceanid a success. That's why I wanted to wait until after the show. If I open this can of worms now, I just don't want to make things difficult between us. We're supposed to be a unit when we're on stage.
Alright, what's bothering you?
Villemont, avoiding the truth will not help anyone.
Yeah, what was it about in Lion King about running from your past or something? And I don't know.
Unless you mean to suggest that Aurelie's death had something to do with you.
It was. I let her go out that day. I really should have stayed near her
I
or
don't want to
something.
talk about it.
Listen, Vimo. I used to think that my love for Aurelie was a point of shame. I never brought it up to anyone.
You loved her too? Turns around to smacks him.
But now, I've made up my mind to put it all on the table. I'm prepared to face everything, to sacrifice everything for the sake of the show. The little Oceanid cannot be complete unless we do justice to Aurelie on an emotional level.
This is why people think of you as not being the smart one. As you all know already, the troupe was kept afloat not from ticket sales, but donations from the audience. Of course, that was nowhere near enough. We took on side jobs when we weren't performing, but even then, the troupe's financial situation was pretty dire.
Again, walking bank. I checked. I've got like 44 million more. I'm pretty sure I can spare a little bit.
So, anyway, one day after a show, a merchant came to me and offered us a huge sponsorship. In return, we just had to provide the audience with their drinks during performances. It seemed like a win-win, so I said yes to it on the spot without consulting the director. It was only when the merchant came to deliver the goods that I realized the drink in question was synth.
Well, that's not very good.
Isn't that the drink peddled by the culprit behind the serial disappearances?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember, okay, I remember it induces a state of euphoria, significant harm to the body.
I freaked out when I saw the boxes. And I told the director everything right away. She was completely shocked as well.
Shocked. Shocked, I tell you.
But she didn't reprimand me for making the decision without consulting her. Instead, she contacted the merchant and stated that the troupe could not agree to this collaboration. The merchant was furious, berated us for going back on our word, and threatened to sue us for damages. The amount was astronomical. There was no way we'd be able to pay.
And then...
I was going to sort it on my own, but the director stopped me. She said that this was an issue for the whole troupe and it wasn't my fault. But things only got worse from there. The synth merchant just wouldn't let up, and then suddenly the director told us all to leave the city one day. I knew then that things must have reached a boiling point. I admit this whole thing was my mistake. I didn't dare to tell any of you the truth back then, and after the director disappeared, I was even more afraid to say anything.
You brought the director to the attention. Let's make him feel bad. Your mistake gave them a motive to kidnap and murder her.
Yeah, I got Aurelie killed. There, I said it. Happy now?
Yes.
Hey, don't say that.
You traitor! You knew Aurelie was in danger. Why in God's name didn't you tell us?
God's name. God doesn't exist in this world. Well, I mean, he kind of does, but not in the sense that we would think. I mean, I guess the primordial one would be like God, but not really, because the primordial one's not really from Tevat. So whoever created the elemental dragons and stuff like that.
What do you mean? You were afraid? This was a life and death situation. We could have saved her. How could you be so stupid?
Please, try not to get too worked up.
Yeah, listen to him. You need to stay calm.
Furina, you can jump in any time now.
Stay calm? How can I stay calm? This guy got Aurelie murdered. She was the love of my life. And he has the gall to try and high-road us, claiming that he kept his mouth shut for the sake of the show. How about taking some responsibility for what he's done?
All I can say is I'm sorry. Truly. I wanted to apologize to everyone in the troupe, but that won't bring back the director. What good is my apology now? I'm just a coward who made an awful, terrible mistake that I can never take back. Beat me up if you want. Kill me if you prefer. It's what I deserve. End my life so I can meet the director and apologize to her in person.
Get out of my sight! Go! Get lost! I don't ever want to see your face again!
That's enough!
Yeah.
You've screamed and shouted at each other for long enough. Now pipe down, both of you!
Ooh, we're gonna get to see Furina in like an Archon mode, giving words of wisdom, doling out the harshness.
Can you stop conflating the show on stage with your real-life relationships in the troupe? You keep saying that you want to use this final performance to pay tribute to your director and celebrate her life. How can you do that if you're just using it as an excuse to vent your own emotions?
You're right.
I'm sorry.
On stage, the lead role is the focal point of the audience's attention. And you're all used to seeing the director as the heart of the troupe. But in her own life, her greatest desire wasn't to be the center of attention. I can tell how much she loved you all, and how much she loved the troupe.
But mostly you all.
What she wanted was to build a warm home for all of her brothers and sisters, to shield you all from the storms that rage in the world outside. That's how you should remember her, and that's what you should be celebrating. I understand why you're trying to make her the hero of the story, but isn't she your hero already? After everything she did for you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So think hard about what that means, and then think again about what you hope to achieve by arguing with each other. If you really hate each other and can't reconcile your differences, then you could just call it quits now. Why bother with the final performance if the group is already fractured? But you can't bring yourself to do that, can you? You care too much about Director O'Reilly and the home she built you all to let go. What are you laughing at? I don't see what's so funny.
Sorry, I didn't mean it that way. It's just that, for a moment there, it felt like our director was back with us again.
That's because, you fools, I've been here the whole time. It's I, in disguise.
If she'd seen Paulo and Vilmont at each other's throats like that, she would have scolded them exactly like you did, in that same stern voice.
Really? But she sounded like such a gentle person.
Yeah, well, sometimes the most gentle people have, when it comes to dealing out that kind of stuff, are usually a lot more stern, because they can only tolerate so much.
Of course she was. Even her harshest lectures came from a place of kindness, and it showed. She really was a truly outstanding person.
From a place of kindness, so when she told you that she would rip your throat out and shove it so far up your ass you'd be able to taste it, it was from a place of kindness.
What you said, it really puts everything into perspective.
I'm truly sorry. I really meant for this to be a genuine apology, but I ended up making it all about me and my self-pity.
The pity party, yay!
It's all right. Let's save all this for after the performance.
Yeah, can we just get on to that?
So, the ending. What are we gonna do about it?
We're gonna do something about it soon, because it's already been an hour and almost 30 minutes, and we've just been talking most of the time.
Clearly, everyone needs to take a step back for now and reflect on what really matters. When emotions are running high, things get lost in the fray.
Come back to us in 2 days.
The end of the story needs to focus back on O'Reilly herself. She's the true star of the show.
What do you mean?
The Traveler is right. You once investigated that underwater synth base and recovered items belonging to the victims. If you could find anything that O'Reilly left behind, perhaps we can get a better sense of what she went through in her final days.
You really think that's possible?
I trust that nobody would object to the ending of the story being based on O'Reilly's true feelings.
No.
Well, We'll leave this in your capable hands.
Come, let's pay a visit to the Palais Mermonia. The rest of you, head back to the rehearsal location for now, and wait for our good news.
All right. Hello.
You want to review some recovered items connected to victims of the serial disappearances case? But, that case has been closed for quite a while now.
Yes, well.
Still, since you were the ones who discovered and submitted the evidence in the first place, you don't actually have to submit an application. Okay, please hold on. I'll have someone dig them out.
Form of belongings.
So, this is
A
all
box.
O'Reilly left behind. Just whatever she was carrying on her person and this tattered old notebook.
Well, this might very well be a Death Note or Tom Riddle's diary. Either way, not good news.
Hey! It's full of script lines! And sketches, too! Looks like they show where the different props should be placed on stage.
Let me take a look. Maybe there's something in here from after she was kidnapped. Aha! I found something. To whoever discovers this diary.
You're next.
Let's see. Looks like she kept a detailed record of her captor's actions. She even mentions the truth behind the experiments on dissolving young women. If we'd had the chance to examine this notebook carefully back then, it would have been a conclusive piece of evidence proving Vacher's guilt.
Vacher took so many lives.
Yeah.
It's still so unthinkable how many victims he had.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's sad because it's like he was trying to bring back his wife or whatever, but he was just taking innocent people and just dissolving them. You know, he was still committing, in a way, a murder. Because once they're dissolved, even if they return to the water, they can't be human again. So,
I guess O'Reilly must have written all of this down in the hope that her records would one day be of use to investigators. Wait, it cuts off. Her handwriting here gets patchier and more illegible by the line. She probably didn't have much strength left.
she's probably dissolving.
Her final words are... I'll let you read them for yourselves.
We cannot get out. They are coming. Someone else was taken. That makes 6, or perhaps the 7th. Someone tried to escape yesterday, but was caught. She has been seen since. Was that yesterday? Maybe not. I've lost tracks. I've long since lost track of time. Sorry, I don't know if I'm writing this. If writing this is of any use, and how much longer can I do it for? I can already see my fate approaching, but what terrifies me even more is the thought of seeing others from the troop here. Have I truly protected them? Yeah. So yeah, she knew what was going to happen. Oh, there's more. I think I have a fever and my old stomach troubles have returned, but nobody has given me any medicine. I suppose I am more fortunate that Crece, pain keeps her awake all night. More fortunate than, okay. I suppose they think that anything goes as long as the experimental subjects can be used up until they die. It is so damp here. I have given her my blankets. So cold, so cold, so cold. As long as one persists, all things will pass. They will be rewarded for their hard work. I like to tell them such things, but it is I who am losing my grip. If anyone sees this troop safe, them important, please farewell, apologize. Life, perform, future, regret, Cleo. Beautiful. Just poetry. This page is an absolute mess, and the writer's pen seems to have wandered its surface at random. Only some words can be made out, and barely at that. From this page onward, the diary stops to be replaced with lyrics from musicals. Some are in the form of newspaper clippings, others are handwritten with many crossings out and changes. It is apparent that the pages have been referenced often, and that this was the personal notebook. Okay.
She was so terrified.
You watched the girl get dissolved right in front of her.
She may have been a mighty hero in the eyes of her troop, but at the end of the day, she was only human. I can't bear to think how painful and lonely her final days must have been.
Like, seriously, Fontaine has got to be one of the saddest freaking regions we've been to. Seriously, think about all the other regions, but it's like we get here, it's just death everywhere. Just death, people being dissolved, and just...
Wait. This part on the last page sounds strangely familiar.
Let me guess, it is about everyone will be dissolved into the waters, and only Furina will remain weeping on her throne. Oh, okay. Flipping through the notebook, the lyrics continue. However, one page has been torn out, folded up, and placed next to the last blank page. At the bottom of the folded note are 2 lines O'Reilly has written in handwriting much more legible than before, but it seems that they took her both great effort and great deal of time to write. If you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one. You will face suffering and loneliness. Is this truly what you want? Because I am the older sister to them. I love them.
If you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one. You will face suffering and loneliness. Is this still what you want?
Isn't that the most important line in the little Oceanid?
Because I am an older sister to them.
Oh.
So she didn't regret her decision. Even as she sat in silence, waiting for death to come. I'm sure this is what the troop would have hoped to hear as well.
Seriously, most depressing region.
She had their utmost trust, admiration, and love, and she truly deserved it.
Their love, right? Not the being dissolved part.
Let's go. It's time for them to learn Director O'Reilly's final thoughts.
Going all Jerry Springer with these final thoughts. For my final thoughts. There's death everywhere. Hello. I'm Batman. Reading through the notebook, some are at a loss for words, some weep bitterly, and some grind their teeth and howl with rage. A long time passed before the group was able to calmly come together and finally make a decision.
She deserves a hero's farewell. If that's the only way to convey to the audience the courage and selflessness that she showed in the face of death,
I like the
it's a
prop
meaningful
wave
way
back
to
there.
end
That's
the
cool.
story.
Even in
Or
the
not a
last
prop, but
moments of
cut
her
out.
life, she was still leaving a trail for others to follow.
She did her best to protect as many people as possible, even if it meant sacrificing herself. We know what choice our little Oceanid would have made now. I don't think any more discussion is necessary. Well, Vilmont, if we put the past aside for now, do you think you can bring yourself to go ahead with the show?
I will channel all my regret and put it into my performance to make this a show worthy of our director. I won't ask for your forgiveness, and you don't need to worry about my feelings. This final farewell show should be about Director O'Reilly and her alone.
Then it seems like we've reached a consensus. I have a feeling that this will turn out to be the most mesmerizing performance of your lives.
Really? How can you be so sure when you've never even seen them perform before?
She's like, do you know how many performances I've starred in the last 500 years? I'm pretty sure I know a good performance when I at least hear it. I mean, she's been working closely with them, so she kind of knows.
Don't underestimate my experience.
But I just said.
After watching a countless number of musicals, I've learned one important thing. If you want to move the audience with your music, you must fully commit and immerse yourself in your role, pouring all your emotion into your performance. And aren't human emotions, love, hate, regret, and hope, just the most mesmerizing things in this world? I don't believe anybody could be more committed to bringing this story to life on the stage than they are now.
Thank you for the vote of confidence, Miss Furina. And thank you for supporting us through all this.
Then, let's not delay things any longer. We need to discuss the details of the ending and get it nailed down once and for all.
Actually, before that, I'd like to make a proposal.
I'm not gonna marry you.
During the curtain call, please allow me to use the director's name instead of my own.
Huh? But then...
After all, this role was originally meant to be played by the director. I'm just filling in for her. Besides, a role commemorating her life should be associated with her name.
Well, if you're sure you're okay with that, I have no objection to it.
Now we're talking like a serious acting troupe. All right, I'll leave you to fine-tune your musical while I go and procure a stage.
Procure a stage?
My name's Paimon. I don't understand words. I'm a dum-dum.
Oh, it's okay. Our usual place doesn't need a reservation.
That place? Oh, don't be silly. For an extraordinary show, we need an extraordinary
The Opera
stage.
Epiclese.
By which I, of course, mean the Opera Epiclese.
Whoa, wait, what?
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Wait up, you asshole.
No. That's never good.
No.
It's far too fancy for the likes of us.
What are you afraid of? Surely you don't think that Aurelie's story is unworthy of the grandest stage in Fontaine.
No, though that's not what I meant.
It is supposed to be your grand finale, right?
Go big or go home.
I have no problem with it then. How about the rest of you?
I'm just here for the food.
I'll take your silence as a yes. Thank you for giving us this opportunity. It really is a dream come true.
To play in the famous, world-famous Opera Epiclese.
Well, then don't disappoint me.
Or else you guys will have bigger problems on you.
If you mess this up, it'll reflect poorly on me too.
Then we'll have to go to trial, and I'll be pushing for an execution.
Come on. We'll need to get the go-ahead from Nervilette.
Yes.
I know just where to find him.
Probably in his office. That's right, let's go see Daddy. Find Nicolette. Nicolette. I'm coming, Daddy. I'm also coming to see you. I'm assuming that Nicolette will be at the performance. For reasons we'll get into later. Daddy. There he is. Oh, you
Hey,
big...
Look at that. Looks like I guessed right.
That big sexy hunk of
You
man.
were just...
That's a man right there.
I knew you'd be here.
Ah, Lady Furina.
I'm here merely for a short break. It has been a while, Miss Furina. And you too, Traveler and Paimon. What might I assist you with today?
Take me, Daddy.
I would like to book the Opera Epiclese for an event. You see...
He's like, say no more. That's all you need to say.
I understand. The process for booking the Opera Epiclese is complex and can be somewhat cumbersome. But given that the request is coming from the three of you, I see no reason to make things unduly difficult.
And, okay, yeah, considering you are the Udex, you are a Hydro Dragon again, you're talking to us, and you're talking to Lady Furina. Pretty sure you could stick us in there somewhere.
The story of the little Oceanid is most fascinating. I'm looking forward to seeing it performed on stage.
Okay, so he is going to be in attendance. Keep that in mind.
I will say, however, that I am surprised to see your passion for the performing arts rekindled after all that has happened.
Huh? What do you mean? Do I look excited?
Yes.
Yes. And this is the first time that I've seen you like this since your departure from deityhood.
Deityhood? The first time I ever heard that word.
At first, I just felt bad about rejecting them, so I wanted to learn a little bit more about their situation. But one thing led to another, and, well, here we are. In the past, we sat in our high chairs in the court, giving our opinions on isolated cases, all while knowing very little about the human stories behind each and every one. Maybe it's because I finally become an ordinary person and gained my freedom, but I've developed a great sense of curiosity about their lives.
You know, it's weird. She considers herself an ordinary person, and she is, but thinking about what she's done for Fontaine, you know, that even though she's not a god anymore, she's gonna be, I mean, I would hope that, like, this is her, Lady Furina, you know, hundreds of years from now, when she's gone, no matter how much longer in life she has, I hope that, you know, in the future of Fontaine, they will look back at her as, like, this godlike figure who saved Fontaine from this disaster. Because, I mean, if it wasn't for her, they'd all be not there anymore. And, of course, Neverlet as well, because, I mean, he's the one who granted them blood, so that they wouldn't be dissolved. But 500 years this chick had to go through mental torture, just so everyone else would be safe. So, you know, but she may consider herself a human being, but she's basically, you know, like I said, a deity at this point.
I am truly delighted to see you find a new lease on life.
He is such a dad. Like, seriously, this man is, like, such a dad.
Now that you've regained some confidence, have you had any thoughts regarding a return to the stage?
Like, you can just hear it in his voice and everything. He's talking to her like a father. You know, I've liked the sense of him being proud of her like a father would, him being in attendance, seeing the show like a father would, even more so now that she's, you know, going to be there in some kind of way, you know, and taking care of her.
Why would you suddenly ask a question like that?
Well, if the Little Oceanid turns out to be a great success, it will no doubt become a classic. Many theater companies are certain to add it to their repertoire. The experiences and decisions of the protagonist Cleo are all modeled after your own. Naturally, this makes you eminently suited to playing the leading role. It would truly be a shame if you did not take this opportunity to allow audiences to enjoy your outstanding acting talents once more.
Haven't I already made myself clear? I won't act or perform in any role ever again. No exceptions.
You say that now.
Nor do I think it is any great shame. There is no lack of fine actors or inspirational stories, either on or off the stage. This experience is a case in point. I feel like I've learned a lot, and it has already been well worth the price of admission. I must admit, though, I'm a little envious. They're quite fortunate to be able to bid farewell to their past in such a magnificent manner.
I see. Well, I'm glad to learn that you have found a role to play that you enjoy, be it on the stage or not. I sincerely hope the show will serve as the grandest of finales. I will have my staff book the date and mail the relevant paperwork to the troupe once the details are confirmed.
Thanks, Nervalet.
Having a a dragon sovereign as an ally and a friend really has its perks, doesn't it?
You are very welcome.
We love you, Daddy. We do. Seriously, Zhongli, you've got some stiff competition. And stiff, not just the size of your Geospire, but, and not just my wee-wee, but, Neverlet, man, it's hard. I'm not just talking about my wee-wee. Hydro Daddy.
Good news, everyone! It's done. The Opera Epiclese is booked. Thanks to my eloquent and impassioned speech, Monsieur Neuvillette was moved to provide us with a fitting stage for this special performance. We've had to fight every step of the way for this opportunity, But we now have all of the ingredients necessary to stage a truly spectacular performance. A touching story, a magnificent venue, and last but not least, a passionate and dedicated cast.
All the ingredients to create the perfect little girls. But Professor Ut accidentally added a secret ingredient concoction. Chemical X. No, but yeah, it's good.
Let's work together and make this show the best it can be.
This is truly wonderful.
Wonderful.
The sooner we can finalize the ending, the more time we'll have to rehearse. Fiamali and I just went over some parts of the script and tweaked a few things. I think it's really going to resonate with the audience now.
Wow, you two had a constructive conversation? That's great!
You didn't try to kill each other?
Communication is vital to any good performance.
Look at us. We've come so far.
And done so much.
I never could have pictured this scene a few days ago.
It's amazing! Even though Furina's still being a bit of a drama queen about it all, she's really fired everyone up!
Please feel free to give us any comments or suggestions you have. We really value your input.
Hey, Loic, get over here. Time to practice the opening number.
Objection! Fool!
Accursed Cleo. She stole the waters of life from us. She's a fraud, and she must pay for her crimes.
Objection!
This has nothing to do with her. The ignorance and hatred of our people is to blame. How can we hope to win back the water's favor if we don't change our ways?
This guy could be useful. Take him hostage. If Cleo wants him back, she'll have to show herself.
Leave this place, O little Oceanid, and never, ever look back!
I like that fountain. It looks nice. I love how the water is just like scrolls hanging down.
Everyone's really throwing themselves into their roles. I haven't seen such a fine performance in a long time. If only...
What should we do? It's almost time for her to take the stage!
Why? Why does it have to be now?
Hey, what's going on? You're due on stage any second now.
Oh, man.
Oh no, not again. But why? What about your new meds? Did they stop working?
They've been getting less and less effective over time. I've had to keep increasing my dose.
Sounds about right.
What? I thought they cure it. So they were only managing your symptoms?
And really, it's only a matter of time before she has to up the dose so much that she can't do it anymore, because then it's overdose. And then they'll just tell her to just keep taking the meds and just think that they're working.
I figured whatever it took to get me through this final performance.
How could you do this to yourself? And after that lecture you gave me about not looking after my health.
I'm sorry. I've let everyone down.
You... This is a conversation for another time. How can the show go on without its star performer?
Oh gee, I hope Furina has a change of heart.
Miss Furina, I'd like to make a request of you.
Say no more. If you're sick, you need to rest. I know what you're going to ask. Loic, your character has no more scenes, correct?
Oh, yeah. I think my scenes are all done. Although, I do have one more line. But I guess another guy in the troupe with a similar voice register could take it.
Please take Delphi back to her place to rest. I'll sing the finale. From the sublime to the ridiculous. After all that, everything's come full circle.
Story of life.
Thank you, Miss Furina. I'm so sorry to put you in this position after everything you said.
You did it on purpose.
Never mind. What's done is done. It's really my own fault for getting in too deep.
Trying to keep up above
No
my
one likes regrets.
head, instead of
included.
going under.
Leave it to me.
No regrets.
I've watched you rehearse so many times that I've learned Cleo's part by heart.
I do not doubt your acting skills, but please allow me to ask just one more question. After all, this show is dedicated to the life and legacy of our director. What, in your opinion, is the reason Cleo shines so brightly?
It's her pure heart. Despite all the pain and loneliness she had to endure, she never once stopped believing in the beauty in this world.
Huh. Sounds familiar, doesn't it?
Well said. I leave Director O'Reilly in your hands.
Are you guys? I know I've seen this before, but it's like the first time with the Archon quest. When you're doing it yourself and you've actually gone through the quest and not just watched the cutscene, it's a little different. Are you ready for this? Because I've seen it numerous times and I'm not even ready for this. I'm just gonna pause myself or mute myself so you can full glory.
Is she here yet?
Will she get here?
She's not coming!
You're wrong. She's here.
Si je pouvais vivre dans l'eau, le monde serait-il plus beau? Me pardonneras-tu, ô chère mère? L'eau dans son courant fait danser nos vies, et la cité elle nourrit, ainsi que toi, mon doux amour.
But what about your wish?
My wish.
If you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one. You will face suffering and loneliness. Is this truly what you want?
Le grand amour ne suffit pas, seul un adieu fleurira. C'est notre histoire de vie, douce et amère. Je serai toujours là, à voir le monde et sa beauté, et ça ne changera jamais, jamais.
Of course, it has to happen at the end. Normally when that happens, freaking updates or something going on in the background. Also, the vision. If you got a good look, it's not a normal vision. Bravo! Bravo!
Is it just me?
Magnifique!
Who was that lady Furina on the stage just now?
No, it's an illusion. It's an illusion.
She hasn't been seen for a while now, and she just appears out of nowhere?
Like a ghost.
Gotta say, though, her acting skills are as superb as ever.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to disintegrate after 500 years, so.
The little Oceanid, Cleo, played by Aurélie Fumont.
Fumont.
Wait, that's not her name. What's going on? I don't know. Maybe it's just a doppelganger.
I've spent a lot of time out of the spotlight, and they didn't use my name during the curtain call either. Hopefully, not too many people recognized me. It's too bad that I had to break the one clear rule I'd managed to make for myself, even if I had no choice.
We all break our own rules from time to time. Look at Batman.
Still, I have to admit that, despite everything, it felt good to be back on the stage again.
Finally, we would like to give a special thanks to our artistic consultant and event coordinator, Miss Furina.
Hey, that's not what we agreed on.
Ah! I feel betrayed.
Oh, so it was Furina after all. She's back.
Honestly, what is he doing? He should have run that by me first.
No.
All right, calm down. Don't be mad. This
Pull your
was a group
tits.
decision. We just didn't want your contributions to go unacknowledged. After all, it's been the rule in Fontaine since ancient times that everyone's work, visible or invisible, is equally deserving of recognition.
She's like, you don't need to sit here and preach about things about ancient times. I've been around for 500 years. I know how Fontaine works.
Yes, I know the rule,
Considering I wrote it myself.
It should still be applied on a case-by-case basis.
It's no big deal. What's the worst that could happen?
Oh, yeah? Well, since you think it's so easy,
This is a great chat and all, but can we talk about that crazy thing that happened during the show? It nearly gave Paimon a heart attack.
Paimon, your very existence gives me a heart attack.
Paimon flew over to where she was supposed to be and was about to drop the prop vision, and then suddenly, a real one popped out of thin air!
oh, that. I've got no idea what happened there either. But hey, it worked pretty well, didn't it?
Now take a good look at that vision. You notice anything?
I'll bet the audience has never seen such a realistic prop.
Wait, what about Dolphy? I wonder how she's doing.
So for anyone who hasn't caught on, the vision had like either like fangs or like dragon claws. Yeah. Once again, Daddy Neuvillette taking care of his child. I mean, he did say he was going to be in attendance. So he knows that it was going to have a vision come down anyway. So what better time to give Furina her own vision than during this play? I mean, he probably didn't foresee her taking the role, but he's like, well, that worked out well. But yeah, that's from Neuvillette. The first vision he's given out is to Furina, and rightly so.
Let's go check on her as soon as we finish clearing the stage.
Yes. Plus, she'll definitely want to hear how the end of the show went. If nothing else, we can safely say that we accomplished what we set out to do.
Oh, are they just in the back? Yeah, so I've said before in the Archon quest, you know, there's nothing that Neuvillette can do. He feels like there's really nothing he can do that can really make up for everything that Furina has done. So, taking care of her, giving her an actual vision, you know, the debt that that Fontaine owes this woman is so immense that there's nothing they can do. So all Neuvillette can do is just do what he can. So if he takes care of, you know, her and her expenses, or giving her you know, a vision, you know, I know it's not Celestia that deals out visions. Visions can be distributed by elemental beings. I mean, we've seen other elemental beings, like didn't Diona get hers from that Oceanid, the one that basically blessed her with being able to take anything and make into a good drink. But considering that Neuvillette is basically Hydro incarnate, he can dispense visions as he sees fit. And the first vision he ever dispensed was to Furina, which is really sweet. Just looking out for his child. This shows how much of a Chad this dude really is. That's why I love his character so much. I'll probably do his quest next. I know this one, I think, is fairly over soon enough. We're already at 2 hours. Wow. And of course, the freaking thing had to mess up during like the very final bit. But like I said, freaking updates and it's annoying, but Starry Passage. So anyway, a vision came out of the sky, and we don't know where it came from, but apparently it was an actual vision.
You're back.
Just like dinosaurs.
She's doing okay. Her condition stabilized after taking some of her original medication. From experience, though, I'd say she still needs a few more days of rest.
How did the performance go? Was it a success? Did the audience like it?
No, they got so mad they got Rotten Tomatoes to throw them at us.
You'll be glad to know it was fantastic. Also, you're not gonna believe what happened while Furina was on the stage. You'll probably be able to read all about it in the Steambird first thing tomorrow morning.
That's wonderful. I'm so sorry I failed to see it through to the end. I guess I was wrong to try and tough it out to begin with.
No, don't worry about it. Like they told me after announcing my name during the curtain call, everyone's work deserves recognition. Even though you couldn't see it through to the final scene, the audience was very impressed by your performance. It's safe to say that you made your mark on this memorial show.
Well, one way or another, we did
I'm
it.
gonna find ya.
I've had bad luck ever since I was born, so I never expect things to go smoothly in life. I'm just happy to know that we went out on a high note.
She related
That's
to Bennett.
all that matters.
Bennett, we found your long
Blaming
lost
your
sister.
Bad luck again, are we? Maybe if you didn't push yourself past your limits so much, your illness wouldn't be flaring up all the time.
Oh, don't you start.
He's got a
I don't
point,
have
though.
the energy to argue with you right now.
Aw, you two clearly care a lot about each other.
Yeah, he's a whole lot of man.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking
we never
about.
stop arguing with each other.
We get a laugh track.
So, any plans for the next step?
What do you mean? I told you, we're just friends. Oh. Oh, okay, sorry.
After the brilliant performance you put on, the reputation of your troupe is sure to spread through Fontaine like wildfire. You won't have to disband if you don't want to. You
I'm sure
could
other
capitalize on the rave
nations
reviews
will
and license
want to put
out
it
a
up.
little Oceanid to the bigger theater troops out there. That would do wonders for your financial situation.
I mean, Liu does
we
plays,
should
and
still
well, actually, all of
disband.
them kind of do plays.
Yeah, it's what we all agreed to.
After all that's happened, I should give you guys some space. But maybe our paths will cross again one day.
You know who could make a book out of it is Miko.
I still want to keep performing, so I might join another troupe. After watching Miss Furina's performance, I think I'm starting to understand our director's infatuation with musicals.
You should do it. It suits you. I'd originally hoped to keep performing too, but I don't know if my health will allow me to.
So basically, what they were trying to avoid is going to happen because they're all like, "Oh, we don't want to disband," but now here it's like, "Oh, we're going to disband because I want to do musicals," and "Oh, well, I'm sick all the time, so I can't keep performing." It's like, well, if you guys are quitting, there's no point me being here. You know?
Oh, so now you finally got your priorities in order. I guess I'll hold off until you've properly recovered as well. What about you, Miss Furina? Any future plans?
Try not to die.
Well, frankly, I think a return to obscurity is no longer an option for me. I'm sure a slew of consultancy requests will hound me wherever I go until I finally acquiesce.
I'm disinclined to acquiesce to your request. Means no.
You rather sealed my fate there with your special thanks at the end of the show.
Sorry.
It's quite all right. No need to apologize. what I meant to say is that this whole experience has shown me that perhaps I'm not as averse to a return to the stage as I previously imagined. Maybe Nervilette was right. Maybe Cleo is the right role for me.
Oh, so now it's all about you. You get a vision, and suddenly it's all about you again.
I still don't wish to pretend to be someone else, but I do have a desire to express myself. So, maybe the show will go on for me after all. Yeah. There was once a time when I was an actress in a masquerade, seeking only to hide the truth. But from now on, I want to spend my time learning real stories about real people and how they touch the lives of others around them.
And let me introduce you to one of the greatest people ever known, whose lives, he touched so many lives. His name was Jesus Christ, and he died for your sins. No. This is Tevat. They don't have Jesus here.
I want to watch them blossom and wither, see them refined on the page,
Oh, for the love of
retold
Lucifer.
on the stage, and remembered long into the future. I'm sure this is what captivated director O'Reilly as well.
Sounds like you're ready to stop running from your true calling. The more you get out into the world, the more you'll discover what a fascinating place it is.
Then it's a deal. If a vision is a gift from the gods, then I should do my best to honor it.
Or he could just go to Neverland and just thank him. He's the one who did it. The Little Oceanid, quest completed.
It's ironic to think that in my whole time as a god, I could only ever dream of receiving this kind of power. And now that the gods have given me their blessing, it actually feels more like I'm finally able to take my fate in my own hands. Is that how humans feel about it as well?
Huh. So there we go. The Little Oceanid, starring Furina. Yeah, it wasn't the gods, it was Neuvillette. So all you have to do is just go thank him. He was in attendance at the theater anyway, and he saw that, oh, because there was a prop vision, and he saw that you just so happened to decide to take the role. He's like, well, I was going to do this later on, but seeing that she took this role and there's going to be a vision drop down anyway, I might as well just poof her vision there for her. It's just being a good dad. But there you go, the Little Oceanid, Furina's story quest, part 1. I think she has another one. That's because the only other person who hasn't had a second quest, I think, is Venti, which is kind of weird. But all the other Archons have had 2 parts, and Venti hasn't. I'm sure the next one for Furina will be coming out with the next update. I wonder why they haven't given Venti a second one. I mean, I understand that at the time it wasn't like a big deal, but even after 4 years,
I carry memories of my home.
you know, they should have been like, oh yeah, we're making a,
It is
unless
the
he's,
last link I have to the land of my birth.
unless there's more to him than meets the eye too, considering that I think he's also a lot older, you know, because he is an actual Animo spirit. He's not like the vision he has, it's fake. He doesn't really need a vision because he's a spirit of Animo. You know, Zhongli, same thing. He's 6,000 years old, and people were thinking he's an elemental, you know, one of the sovereigns, because he's still a mystery. But it was a good story. I mean, Fontaine has been one of the best, if not the best, regions, zones, nations, whatever you want to call them, so far. There's just so much sadness here, just people being dissolved, and this, and it's just so sad. And then Furina, you know, 500 years putting on this this show for everyone, people being dissolved, Fontaine's little prophecy of being flooded. Just, it's so much doom and gloom here. It's crazy. But anyway, that's gonna do it for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.